and my family especially.
Well, there's been several people, and you might have been one of them. People are still trying to, let's see, how do I put this? Make it work out between them and their relatives that they keep pee in their house. They collect it in their bathroom or their bedroom or their house, and they're afraid their mom might come over and out them as a pee drinker. And the best advice I can give them is get over it.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to do that as soon as I started because I knew it was going to be inevitable at one point or another, just to face the reality of it and speak about it before, you know, she found out some other way. So that's what I did. And it was, you know, at first a huge shock and like all of these different doubts and fears and worries that came up. And then, you know, thinking that I was going to get sick and even die and all these things. But now it's been 2 years and there's nothing she can say about whether it's negatively impacting my health, because, you know, it's clear that my state of being is like dramatically increased. And, you know, even just this morning, she sent me a text about like, you know, how much she has noticed me improving in all areas of my life. So, you know, at a certain point, like the results speak for themselves and you don't even have to really say much.
Yeah. And have you noticed that your ability to stay calm while other people are off balance has improved?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like this is the number one way that I've been able to like just address my, you know, deepest, quote unquote, weirdest, unaccepted parts about myself, so that when I'm able to like be that open and vulnerable with somebody else, it's like nothing else kind of will, you know, sway me away, or I wouldn't be afraid to share anything else, because it's like I've already been the most vulnerable that I can be with somebody.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I can stay really firm on that.
Well, that pretty much confirms my mantra. I drink pee, doesn't everybody?
Exactly.
But
yeah, we've all done it at one point or another.
See, our work on the planetary scale is to reset collective consciousness, reset the agreed upon reality, and shift that paradigm where people, their old understanding of programming about Shivambu was based on a theory and a myth or a propaganda from the medical industry, which a lot of people have lost great faith in. And people are looking for an alternative, and we're introducing it at a perfect time in human history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially when all these people are worried about getting sick and dying and stuff. Like, you've got the number one medicine to treat it always on tap. So, you know, it seems to be when people feel like they have no other option, or when they've tried everything else and nothing else has worked, that's when they come into like the more quote unquote desperate measures. And that seems to be how a lot of people find this therapy. So,
well, when people are having a breakdown, it's amazing where the light shines, and their mind gets in new information that it would normally resist and push against.
Exactly.
But we're not missionaries of the religious order. We're missionaries of the Shiva water order. So we more the gentle approach, not the guilt-ridden religious approach.
Yeah, no need to go and try and force our beliefs on anybody. Really letting the people that are ready to come into it, you know, have the supportive group. And it's so essential, because like I remember when I first started, like the main reason why I didn't start when I was like 14 was just because I thought it was just one person doing it that I learned about it from, and I didn't realize there was this huge community and history behind it. And if I had, you know, people like yourself, like, and these kind of groups that I knew about, it would have been like a piece of cake, like no question about it, that I would have started 6 years ago when I was 14. So, I mean, everything happens for a reason, but now I see the value of it even more. So,
well, I am extremely grateful that there is a wealth of communities online and offline that support and create a safe space for people to discuss this and open up and learn from. Because in 1994, when I got started, like a lot of things you get started on, all there was a book or two, and there was nobody to talk about it. So I pretty much kept it myself. My wife thought I had an unusual hobby, but she was allowing it to be okay, but she wouldn't take an interest in it. So I kept it to myself. And it wasn't until the 2016, 2017 that I discovered urine therapy social media groups. Oh my God, it just flipped a creative switch and a book came through, and everything has been snowballing since then.
Wow.
I mean,
in between that time, it was just you, like.
It was me. It was me. Wow. One of my teachers, Leonard Orr. I don't know if you've heard of Leonard Orr, but he wrote this book. Yeah. Is it backwards?
No.
Can you read it?
I see Secrets of Youth thing. Wow.
Yeah, in it, he mentions the Damar Tantra, and he calls urine therapy Shiva Kalpa. All right. So he talked about all the healings that took place in his body and how he recovered, and goes into the Damar Tantra and how Shiva, which he considers Babaji to be Shiva. And so that was part of my inspiration spiritually, because if Shiva sends somebody to tell you to do something, you may want to take a look at
it. Absolutely. I remember, you talked about this in not only the Water of Life, the book that you created, but also when I had mentioned in like a previous Zoom call here that I was reading The Secrets to Everlasting Life by Leonard Orr, like that other book that he had wrote. And you mentioned like he had even talked about this, which was a huge shock to me, knowing like how big of a name he is, and even reading about like the other people that have spoken about it, like the Prime Minister of India at one point had spoken out about it. I think I read that through your book, but might have been another one. And
he talked about it.
All these huge things.
It was in the 1960s, and he was interviewed by Dan Rather on 60 Minutes. And he invited Dan Rather to start drinking his pee on national television. And I so wish someone find the video clip of that.
And like news stories where I remember this one guy had been in Egypt, like trapped under like a mine or something, and then 4 days he was stuck there, and he said the only thing that helped him survive was being able to drink his urine. And like so many other news stories, like Prahlad Johnny finding out about how he was able to recycle the urine in his body to be vegetarian for 70 years. And so many things that it's just like it's right in front of your face, literally.
Right, a pyramid brother.
He's my friend.
Hi, are you a student of Devon Airbender?
I am not. No, I'm not. Look forward to eventually. Is that a part of this?
No, this is all about Shivambu. And what's your name, brother? You froze. You froze on us. Come back, wherever you are. Somebody throw some Shivambu on his camera. Anyway, welcome. Where are you dialing in from?
Currently, I am in Texas.
Which city?
I reside in Florida.
Where in Texas?
McAllen. I'm on the Mexican border.
Okay.
15 minutes into Mexico.
I came into this planet in El Paso and spent 15 years in Austin.
Okay.
You should have seen Austin in the 70s and 80s. It was the place to be back then.
I bet. It's coming back to it, isn't it? I'm hearing a lot of people are going back to Austin.
Yeah, if that's what you're hearing, that's probably true. I've been out of the loop on what's going on most places on the planet. But I got my finger on the pulse of the Shivambu movement, and folks like David have been returning here to share his wisdom and understanding. And now you're here, and we've got some guest speakers who haven't showed up yet. And this is number 17, if you didn't know that.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I am a little sad that I've missed 16 of them, but I'm here for 17 and further.
Yeah.
You know?
Right on. Many of these have been published on my YouTube channel, so you can always, find it and watch some of them.
Okay, I must run inside and probably grab headphones.
Okay.
Like there's only one little patch of grass outside, and it's right next to the road. But it's better than cement.
As long as you can get Wi-Fi, you're good to go.
Yeah. Howdy do.
Howdy do.
Right?
He's got the energy of the universe on his crown.
I do, man. I got about 10 tenses on my head.
Whoa.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned Airbender. He's been on a couple of our calls, and he wears pyramids on his head. He meditates in a copper pyramid. He does all kinds of stuff. And keep talking, guys. The Guptas are going to try to get on the call here.
Once I get back home, I plan on building myself a pyramid.
Hold on a minute. I got some of our advisors on the call. Go ahead.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, I'll sit. Okay, bye. Keep talking. I'm sending a link to the Guptas.
Hey.
Darlene, meet people. Talk to them.
Greetings.
How you doing, Matt?
Hey.
Hey. How you doing today?
I'm good. It's good to be here. It was a fast 2 weeks.
What?
Dude, around my head.
How are you?
Keep
Good.
talking.
I'm at the beach today, but
Yeah.
I'm still driving here. Hopefully my connection will stay, but things are good so far.
Cool.
The
Yeah,
Shivambu
beach.
meeting. I work with other Shivambu practitioners.
Hello, Brother Matt's in the house. Welcome. It's good to see you out of your Shivambu bath. You came out really well. Look how beautiful your skin is. It must have been all that time in the fluid, amniotic fluid.
Thanks.
It's
good to be out.
It's good to be out. Yeah. Well, you can never be away from water because we're in water molecules all the time.
Yes, sir. And I'm just referencing how strong it is.
Air is water. Water is air.
All right. So we got a brother on the top left screen. He's in McAllen, Texas. He's originally from Florida.
Hello.
Introduce yourself so we can all know who you are.
Greetings, everybody. My name is Chris, or Apothecus Healing. It's kind of funny because David's using my Zoom currently. But yeah, I started practicing Shivambu 3 months ago. At the end of April. David is actually one of the first people I met. Yeah, it's been a very deepening practice of self, literally. He introduced me to using essential or aromatherapy with your urine. So basically putting your urine into a diffuser and then just sitting in it and just allowing your urine to bathe you, basically. And I feel like that is one of the most healing and connecting with yourself practices possible. Yeah, like you can take a bath in urine or you can literally bathe in urine in the air. And I feel like that's 10 times more effective and you don't have to save up gallons of urine, you know? But now I'm a huge okay, that's just not staying on. I'm a huge advocate for Shivambu. I just want, you guys can hear me, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Okay, before you continue, I want to go through the etiquette and disclaimer really quick, and then open up the line to everybody. Welcome to the Guptas. Welcome to the call. I'm glad you made it.
We made it.
So here, real quickly, here's the etiquette. If you're not speaking, mute your microphone so that'll avoid background noises. Number 2, raise your hand when you want to speak so we can, acknowledge whoever is coming up next. Number 3, sit still. Don't pull a Rico Mesa and start doing yoga on camera if you can. If you want to do yoga, turn off your mic, your camera. That's simple enough. If you also decide you want to start eating stuff, eat it off camera. We want your full attention on these calls today. You guys understand that so far?
Understood.
Got it.
Okay. The disclaimer basically says, we're going to talk about urine therapy and drinking your pee and topical applications and anything and everything about Shivambu and the Shivambu movement. If you came here to expect that on the call, that's what you're going to receive. If you came to the call and you don't know how you got here, you're going to have to be patient, open your mind, or leave the call. That's what we're all about.
I love it.
So let's start off with Darlene on the right. Give us a quick update on what's going on with you the last couple of weeks and any insight you have about Shivambu.
Oh, well, I'm Darlene, and I'm still in the middle of my study. Hope to be done the participation part by the end of August, and that's going well. Checking people's, doing blood analysis on people after they take, the urine and inject it and doing all kinds of things. And it's been a really interesting process, and I'm excited to get to the end of August where I can start analyzing the data, putting it together and seeing what results I'm coming up with.
End of August, cool.
Yeah.
Before we go to Matt, the hot news that came through this morning, Matt already knows about it. Our buddy out in England, Fabian Farquharian, came up with a measurement of 7.8 megahertz is the frequency of urine, according to Schumann resonance. Did I pronounce it right? Resonance.
And how did he measure that?
We'll have to ask Fabian.
Okay. So did he measure it in the urine or measured it in the person and how it adjusted with the urine? Or, yeah, I guess you don't know, probably. But...
That's a Fabian question. Anybody want to follow up with that? If not, I will. Let's go over to Matt. Give us a little update on what's going on with your journey.
Yeah, well, thanks. Hey, thanks, Fabian. I'm glad that you made the connection yourself to the Schumann resonance, because you only said 7.8, right? So next question would be, is it 3 as well? Because that would really put it in the bag. But you're already making that connection, so I'm sold. Thank you. How I'm doing is I'm still in collection mode in my mind in terms of making this tub, but it's already worth it if you hang out in it long enough. Basically, yeah. It's not as instant as some of these nano ways of getting it into your system, which just really go deep right away and can give me a fever. Yeah. The tub doesn't give me a fever, but it induces long-term, in terms of time for me, extended, positive experiences instead of this like purging. But that's because I need purging. So, if you can chill with the nebulized stuff, like far along as far as I can tell.
Thank you. Thank you, Matt. By the way, guys, Matt's one of our pioneers who's doing a bath with urine in it. And so him and Monica and some other people are showing it can be done. And tell people where they can see that video you made.
My YouTube channel, Matt Sena. Monica makes it prettier though. Queen.
Sweet. All right. Indira and Vijay, introduce yourself and give us an update on your journey.
You're muted. You're muted.
Unmute your microphone, guys.
Sorry. Yeah, now we are on.
Okay. I am Vijay Gupta, and I'm a practitioner of AUT. And I do that every day, and I'm happy. Okay, that's all.
People know me here, but I just wanted to ask Matt about the nanoparticles getting into your system. What are the system they get into you?
You're muted.
Oh, I don't really know. My experience is just nebulized, which is thin water, very small water particles, like more small because they're round, than steaming would be nebulization. And that correlates with a faster fever, faster detoxification response. So the size seems to matter. But that's all I know. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Thank you.
So would you say it's similar to size of a gas or a vapor?
Steam compared to nebulization?
Nebulization.
Yeah, something that can kind of float and have like a cloud-like quality, which is what we see coming out of the nebulizer, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Thank
Indira,
you.
do you want to tell us anything about your journey?
Well, you know, I'm trying to really get to the bottom of the frequency aspect. So let's do some research, and that will give us some really scientific basis to cover that aspect. Okay, we have this frequency for autourine. So it's a subject for some research. Thank you.
I'm going to ask Fabian to produce a video on what he claims, so we can find out from him, and I'll dialogue with him, see where he comes up with stuff.
Yeah, that will help. Thank you.
All right, who's next to the Guptas? Who's a gentleman with nothing behind him between Christopher and the Guptas? Could you introduce yourself?
Is that
Benjamin?
Benjamin? Are you talking about Benjamin?
Yeah, your screen is on our screen, Brother Sage, so it's probably Benjamin.
Benjamin, introduce yourself and tell us what brings you to our call today.
Hello, everyone. Good to be here. Benjamin from France. It's a pleasure to know this group and to see that there is an active community. I'm really grateful for knowing urine therapy for the beginning of this year. And now, since I browsed the wonderful book from Brother Sage and many references as well, and also some videos, I'm really like getting deep into it on a daily basis. And I really did the bath, also the eye things, the ears, and I'm improving the nose one. And yeah, the next step for me is like the age one.
Benjamin, is there much of a community of urine therapy practitioners in France that you're aware of?
Well, it's on the beginning. As far as I know, I'm just prospecting and spreading the message. So I'm looking forward to extend it.
Do you know a gentleman named Tal Schaller?
Yes.
If you want to connect with him, I'll give you his contact information. I interviewed him last year, and he's been at this as long as the Guptas. He's been at it probably 40, 50 years.
Yeah, it's been written, translating the book, so to make it known more in France. Yes.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us today. Christopher, time to hear from you. Check in. Just tell us your journey. What's going on?
Hey, everybody. I'm Christopher. I'm from Boulder, part of the Shivambu.org group. I've been working on a manifesto, and an aspect of that is what I'm calling best vaccine alternative, collecting testimonies from people as social proof, so that the people who are looking for an alternative to the vaccine have some social proof about that this works. Also working with McLean on a newsletter, a monthly newsletter. And yeah, that's the gist of it. I'd like to, Sage, if you could give me a few minutes somewhere in today's call where I could read a rough draft of the manifesto, just like a 2-page thing.
Yeah, we will do that. And tell everybody the name of the newsletter.
The name of the newsletter is You're in the Spotlight.
It's a great one. All right, David, give us a quick update on what's been going on with you and your journey.
Greetings, family. What is good? I am David. I have been on this journey the last 2 years, first finding out about it from Harry Matadine, and then over the last, I would say 6 months to 7 months, I've started posting about it on my social media. And for me, like the greatest part about, like the most rewarding part about it, besides, you know, just like the benefits myself, is being able to spark that seed within somebody else, and you know, being able to share this with other people. And so over the last like several months, I've been doing several consultations and calls with people that are just interested to learn about it, and even several people that I've gotten to, like, you know, inspire them to start, which is like one of the greatest feelings for me. And just this past weekend, I was at an event with like 200 people and me and somebody named Abu Shadi were both there, and we had talked about it like in like the whole group of people, and we got like all these people interested in it, and they were just asking all these kind of questions. And one of them said that he was going to start it himself, and like, yeah, to speak about it in a public setting like that, where it was already people into like, you know, self-development and things like that, just hadn't heard about this side of it. You realize how it's not as far-fetched as most people might even seem when they're already open to other things relating to it. And as far as my own journey progressing with it is what I have just the other week, I did a 4-day Orin fast, which is the longest I'd ever done with just drinking Orin. And I had used it to cure my poison ivy. And like I had for the whole week before that, like the worst rashes all over my skin, couldn't even do anything else but take care of them. And then after 4 days of just Orin fasting, it was literally all completely gone. So now like that to me was one proof out of many experiences that has taught me what this medicine has to offer. And my next goal as well, or something I'm pursuing, is starting something called the Zen cleanse, where I'm going to pair that with the Orin fast. And you can look into it if you want to learn more about it, but it's a 1-day intestinal cleanse that people claim in just 1 day you can get rid of like years and decades of mucoid plaque, which I've done like weeks and weeks and weeks of fasting to get rid of, but I've never seen it come out. And yeah, I think pairing it with the Orin is going to like really accelerate that. And
David,
excited to share the results.
Can you post a link in our chat feed so those that are interested can look it up?
Absolutely. Yes, I will. So
All right.
complete.
All right. Thank you so much. McLean, let's hear from you.
Hey, everyone. I'm McLean. I'm in California, Northern California. I just continue to do, you know, sort of daily drinking. I've been drinking. I mean, I drink fresh. I think I said last time I sort of mixing fresh and aged. And I'm doing a lot of putting in my eyes because of all my peers who are having eye surgery and cataracts and all kinds of things. And I'm like, well, let me not be one of them. And I am working on the newsletter. You're in the spotlight, and it's turning out to be a little more challenging with my schedule, and I need to talk to Christopher and anyone else who has articles or something to contribute. What was someone saying? I thought it would be good. Oh, the manifesto. Oh, we'll talk.
We're gonna get
and I don't know. That's all. I'm glad to be here. I'm sorry I missed the beginning talk of something that I don't have any idea about the numbers. Anyway, I'll go back. When I miss things, I go back and look at the video, listen to the video when it gets posted. So I'll go back to the beginning.
All right, 1 more minute.
That's all.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining us again. Natalie, if you're not up flying with your angel wings, can you open up your microphone and camera and talk to us?
Well, I'm driving right now, so I just thought my picture's more beautiful than me sitting in my car. But hello, I just have 3 things I want to report. Number 1 is I'm on my way to go camping to do a psilocybin journey with magic mushrooms. So I'm gonna keep all my urine from during the day when I do this journey, and then so I get that psilocybin back in me again, so I get a double whammy. And I convinced one of my girlfriends to give me her pee the other day when we were out walking on the trail, and so then I mixed ours together and drank it, and she couldn't quite get to the point to have a sip herself, but we did a super cool TikTok video and I got a couple hundred views on that, so that was exciting. And the third thing, I convinced one of my soul kings, well, first I told him about us practicing urine therapy, and it shocked him a little. You know, when you tell, or in my experiences, when I've told some of my soul kings, they like, their heads even go back because they're like shocked.
We're losing you, Natalie. You may be at a Wi-Fi area. Natalie, it sounds like you're moving in and out of Wi-Fi. Who's right next to Natalie with the iPhone named Susan?
We don't have the same screen arrangement, brother.
We don't. Okay, well, I'm looking at someone who goes by.
Yeah.
That's
iPhone Susan, would you like to go next?
All right. Well, I'm not hear from her, but I want to read from this book. Anybody heard of this book, the Manav Mudra? This was a gift from Indira. Susan's coming on? Okay, let me read this really quick. By the way, did y'all bring something to drink?
Yes, urine.
Ain't it pistastic? All right, here's to your health, your joy, your connections, your abundance, and your well-being. Salud. Oh, that's so tasty. I'm drinking Super P. This stuff is just supercharged. All right, I'm going to read 2 passages from the Manav Mudra, and then we're going to pass it over to Christopher. And this is chapter 1, urine therapy in a nutshell. Auto urine is an easy, natural, and self-dependent means to health. It is germicide, anti-poison, and a tonic. It is a destroyer of disease and restorer of health. It is nutritive, digestive, and unique and sure laxative. It is equally useful to males and females of all the age groups from childhood to old age. It protects and restores to health every organ of the body. It is incomparable as regards its merits and inexpensiveness. It is harmless, faultless, and it is in consonance with religious sanctity. It is helpful to a simple and disciplined life. It fulfills the universal law of circuit. No diagnosis is required in auto urine therapy, and it is a sure cure for all minor and major diseases. There was something else I was going to read, but I lost my place.
So that book that you're reading from, what is that book?
Is this backwards or can you read it?
Manav Mudra. And so where I guess Indira, where does that come from? Who wrote that?
It is written by a man named Patel.
Okay.
Raji Bhai Patel.
Okay. It comes from Gujarat, where I come from, the state of Gujarat in India, western state. And this gentleman was very Gandhian, and all the people, they have such a love for life. They want to help people, just like Mahatma Gandhi. And the followers of this philosophy, it's by, sharing the benefits. And this is how it started. And my speculation is that when Mahatma Gandhi fasted, whenever there was a cause that he had to tell the Brits that we are not going to accept this, I'm going to go on fasting. So one time he went and he fasted for 40 days or something like that. But he would drink water. So this idea came to me that maybe he was drinking water and then he was drinking his urine to survive. And that is a kind of a hypothesis, speculation, but maybe that's what I think we need to know when all this stuff is going to happen. People are saying that, in 2050, people won't have any water to drink. I think we are in the business of telling these people, future generations, to have this as a really way to survive. You don't need food, you don't need any water. You can, help other people because we are giving back to the society what we know. And this is what Brother Sage and all of us are part of.
Yeah, and the people who have been doing a urine fast, some of you on this call, have discovered that they didn't get hungry or they didn't have a call to thirst. And if it is true that urine can satisfy hunger needs and thirst needs and dehydration needs, you're free from commercial food. You're free from concerns about government interference. You can be free. Susan.
Yes. Hi. 1 second, please.
Okay. Well, we got a new person on the call. Can you tell us a little about your urine therapy journey?
Yes. I'm calling from Israel. I talked to you on the phone. I've been drinking and drinking the urine for a number of years. I just want to progress from just drinking it, and I did a urine fast once per day. So I just want to try to connect with people, maybe have a support group, and just progress. You know, I haven't progressed very much in 20 years.
Well, welcome, Susan. It's great to have you on the call.
If there's anybody in Israel who does it, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Do you know any folks in Israel that are doing this practice?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, they're going to start showing up for you. Meanwhile, if you're interested in getting support and being able to talk about a subject that's near and dear to people in this water family, joining the Shivambu Hut is one way to meet these folks. We've got about 275 members right now. And then there's all the social media groups on Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. By the way, there's one on Telegram that's really going wild. So there's more urine therapy support than ever right now. So Susan, thanks for joining us. You can always contact anybody on this call or reach out to me again like you did yesterday.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Sage, I'm wondering if there's a way that we could, you know, if there's a way of creating a network or, you know, probing an existing network of finding practitioners in a particular location, like Israel. You know, do you have any ideas about that? Do you, you know, how would we go about it? Would it be Facebook groups? Would it be, you know, do you know anybody or any organizations that are kind of internationally connected? It just seems like it would be, as you know, as a foundation, Shivambu, if we had that ability to find out, you know, like if somebody said, you know, I'm in, you know, I'm in Peru. Can you tell me if there are any, you know, practitioners in Peru, and then we do some kind of investigation, and we can come up with, you know, some a list of people.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because back in 1994, when this book came out, you guys get your hands on this one yet? The Golden Fountain by Cohen van der Kroon in Holland. In here, he mentions urine therapy centers in the United States, India, Australia, England, and one in New Mexico. Here's one in Nicaragua. But I don't know if these guys are current. If we can find out if any of these associations and organizations and even the centers in India are still active, and we can collaborate with them. And then you find out there's social media groups out of Japan. There's two guys that were working on translating my books into Japanese. They constantly post content every day. There's a group in Indonesia. There's a group in India. There's groups all over the place. We just have to do more research. Indira, yes. Unmute yourself.
Yeah.
What I'm thinking, that I'm sure if you want to say Japan or Indonesia or Germany or anywhere, there has to be some kind of a leadership that can be tapped into. People who have written the books, you know, they are leaders.
Yeah.
People who are active, like, you know, the radio lady from Botswana or someplace, you know.
Dr. Beauty, yeah.
That's right. So we can send out an email to these people and see that they have already network of people that they know that can come together, and because, you know, right now we are only like 9 people. This is a time sink, you know, we are spending 1.5 hours, we are connecting, but more people, if they come, oh gosh, I mean, you know, they can come every time or maybe every other week or something like that. if they know that we exist.
Mhm.
You see? So I'm just saying that we need to get in touch with those leaders of writing books or having groups or people who are associated with Mahatma Gandhi and people like that, you know?
Right. And I would suggest that everyone on this call do their part to help pull this together. And we're coordinating this through the Shivambu organization, because a lot of people are finding that we're not a invaluable resource, and we're bringing resources out to the world. So if anybody finds these contacts or any of this kind of information, please run it through the Guptas, Christopher, myself, or anybody who's on our board of directors.
I mean, one possible idea, and this is kind of old school, but it's it's an idea, is to create an international email list. That people, it goes out to every network and every leader, and it's a place where people can join and just be, that there's one kind of central list that can include everybody.
And do you have a way to capture all these emails and gather them?
Well, I don't specifically have a way, but I think one way is to, you establish the list and then you share that to leaders, because every leader is going to have an email list, and so to send that out to leaders and have them disperse it. And that's a way of just getting, kind of like, your foot in a door, and then, hopefully from that it will be shared and it will, like, get into all the cracks.
Indira.
Maybe we can write a generic email first, representing ourselves, giving information, all this stuff, and request them, because we don't want to impinge upon their networks and people that they know. But we can say that this is the idea to connect with the international community, and if they would like to share their people that they know, or people who are privately consulting these people. So we have to give them a freedom to choose whether they want to be part of the international group with their emails and things like that. Because right now people are so, they don't want to, kind of be exposed, So let us write a generic letter, then send it out to the people.
Are you volunteering to write the letter?
Well, I think that, yeah, we can all write, say something that, yes.
I think collectively writing would be best.
Yes.
Yeah, well, everybody will add some of their own wording, including Darlene.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, if people are volunteering, then I'm gonna put my email in the chat, and if you have any, if you want to write a paragraph that would go out to the international community, about why it's valuable for us to all be connected, that would be great. And I'll just compile it and put together a letter and then send that to you all, and we'll come up with something. So here's my ChristopherMcClure@gmail.com. So yeah, it's I just want to say that I've been saying this for a couple of months now, that movements that are congealed, there's a coherency, they have more impact in the world than this group doing this and this group doing that. And this international email list is a step towards that international community, that greater coherency and cohesion.
Thank you. Now, with the hard work of Christopher, the Guptas, and myself, we've been helping to put together an infrastructure like this, so that anybody will feel can meet with us, share with us, add content, and help to build and grow this movement. So you guys grab onto Christopher's email address and take advantage of it. Does somebody want to add something to what we've said so far? Because we're going to go into today's topic here. But before we do, and I don't want to skip over you, Christopher, would you share us the beginning of the manifesto?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is just a very rough draft. I've been doing some reading about what goes into a manifesto. And so I just answered some questions. And then I just, like a half hour ago, I just tried to string it together into some prose. So just what I'm looking for in terms of feedback is in terms of content. And I want to also say that this is the specifics of this manifesto are in terms of a project that I'm currently involved in, which I'm calling Best Vaccine Alternative. And there'll be many aspects to this manifesto. This is just the only specific in this manifesto is regarding this particular project. So Shivambu is here to inform the world population of the gold mine of health freedom within their own bodies. We encourage people to become independent of the greed and ineptitude of the medical industry. The human family will take an evolutionary leap forward by adopting urine therapy. We propose a testimony campaign, and more specifically, a best vaccine alternative testimony campaign, utilizing many people's yearning for an alternative to the vaccine. We, as urine therapy practicing humans, are empowered with our inherent health and need not fall victim to the false belief that Western medicine has the only answers. We are advocates of people establishing a baseline of free and natural inherent health through urine therapy, leaving Western medicine to supplement with what it does best. The plan is simple: collect testimonies from the 30 million worldwide practitioners, specifically capturing the confidence they possess regarding urine therapy being a viable alternative to the vaccine. After securing and posting these testimonies on the Shivambu website, we will begin a global awareness initiative using the testimonials as social proof. Our goal is to increase global usage from 30 million to 300 million practitioners, triggering a collective mass leading to worldwide adoption and the elevation of humanity to empowered stewardship of this planet. We advocate self-empowerment, God-given health, and health freedom. You can help us by submitting your testimony and then getting the word out by email, social media, television, radio, interviews, celebrities, and even Oprah Winfrey. We are seeking advertising funding. That's all I have so far.
All right, you guys get that? Indira.
You're muted.
Better, that's better.
Okay. What I would suggest that we just make one paragraph for the medical connection. Medical, what the medicine has done, Western medicine, but make it more positive, because in the future we want to engage the Western medical professionals, and so we need to be more positive. So we can devote a paragraph just for the medical system and engage them to be positively involved with us for future generations to benefit.
Yeah, I like that. That's good.
Is there a way we can acknowledge the medical industry without insulting them?
Yeah, I think that's good feedback. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Darlene, you're muted? Are you talking? You're muted,
yeah.
Darlene. There
okay,
you go.
Come on now. So we could just call it the medicine of the future. You know what I mean? It's the medicine, and it's not insulting, but as we move forward, not only is it giving us the vital nutrients that our soils are lacking, the hormone balancing, the fluids, the hydration, it's got the energy that we need to go forth in this world, as the energy of the earth changes.
Okay, good. Could you like write a paragraph about that and send that to me?
I can.
Yeah, the medicine of the future. Just and I mean,
love it.
if it's more than a paragraph, that's great. But just just at least a paragraph, just to kind of flesh that out.
Okay.
I sent you a slogan on chat. So I like this. I used this expression years ago. It's regeneration for the next generation.
Yeah.
I like that too. Could you flesh that out in a paragraph and send that to me?
Yep, and let's put Matt on the microphone.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'd love to send a paragraph about what Nguna was talking about, Indira, sorry, about how in a starvation situation, it's extremely relevant. You know, Kamala Harris was talking about how future wars, she actually said this to a public congregation, that so far in the past, wars have been fought over oil. She admitted that, number one. Second of all, she said, future wars will be fought over water. And then the fact that was cited earlier about, you know, scarcity is probably the more relevant one. But, you know, I believe Kamala Harris. You know, this is a big deal. And, you know, I think governments might be interested at a certain
Yeah.
point.
So include Matt, include that, include her name in the paragraph, you know, like, yeah. And send that to me. That'd be great. Thanks.
Great idea.
Isn't it? Yeah. So I love your language too, Indira.
Okay.
And Matt, why don't you just call her up and get her on her call?
Oh, you.
We could have fun with her.
Yeah, I mean, she knows stuff, apparently.
She knows what she knows. Today's topic, by the way, is for each and every one of us, and if there's anybody who's, I was hoping we get more viewers, but we can still act as if we're not just speakers, but we're viewers. Please share your insights, joys, and frustrations with both personal use of Shivambu, as well as what you're going through as you approach new people and share this message with new people.
Hey, Sage.
Yes.
Could we have McLean check in on the newsletter before we go into the main topic?
Sure, McLean.
Okay, so I mean, I'm actually looking. I mean, I can work with Christopher and Sage. I mean, I'm looking to work collaboratively with people. There's so many articles. I have so many links that I have sort of looked up, and it's like, what do we post and what do I follow? And I sort of feel out there like, I don't know, it's starting to feel sort of overwhelming. And I wrote a little bit myself on something, how one starts, but I don't see this as a newsletter that's my blogging. So,
yeah, and that's definitely true. It's you're like the curator.
Yeah.
But you're definitely a contributor, and I'm a contributor, and Sage is a contributor, and Darlene's a contributor, and Matt's a contributor, and the group that, you know, we're all contributors. What I would recommend is that to look at all the information you found so far as a repository. You know, that you don't have to. It doesn't all have to go into one newsletter. You've got stuff for the future, and I think what you said, how do you start? I think that's a great opening newsletter. You know, it's like
it's the debut.
Yeah, that's a great place to start. Is how do you start?
The other thing, McLean, how most magazines operate is they gather all their content in their articles, and they look at 12 to 24 editions down the road on the calendar. So you're gonna focus on one topic each newsletter and fill it up.
Yeah, I like that idea, Sage. And McLean, if you wanted to, you and I get together and create that forward-looking plan, you know, I'd be happy to do that. I think that would be useful, you know, to actually, and it's not like it's not like a plan that we can't deviate from, but it's like, how do we move and how do we organize so that we're moving, you know, in some kind of, you know, chronological or, you know, sequential thematic sense.
Also, our guys in the marketing department will be able to, if when we get it all laid out, what month and what edition is going to be what, we can throw out little teasers out into the World Urine Therapy community so they can look forward to the next edition.
And we could also, you know, so if we know in 3 months that there's, you know, one coming up on aged urine, then we could send out a notice to all the aged urine advocates and say, hey, we're going to be doing the newsletter. Would you like to contribute? And it gives them time to, you know, think about it and write about it, and for us to, you know, pull it together.
McLean, does that bring some ease to your mind?
Maybe. I mean, yes, I like this idea, and I will call Christopher and we'll head trip about it. So
yeah, I got some time this next week, so let's just set up another Zoom meeting, and we'll jam on this.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for what you're doing.
All right. Any more ideas or feedback about what the newsletter is going to be all about, or do you want to move on?
I think we're good, unless anybody has any comments.
Thanks to you guys. Yeah, manifesto, newsletter. Yeah.
Well, you're all urine in the spotlight. Any way we look at it. I was talking to some of the guys who said, how come I'm able to talk so much I can? A lot of you guys are talking a lot about this on social media, about urine therapy and the recoveries and the prevention and and everything about urine therapy. How is it that we're not censored or bumped off social media? Well, the only answer I came up with is that the narrative on the mainstream media and everybody else is focusing on the scary side of life. And pee drinkers is way off their radar. So it's going to be a while before they're going to even pay attention to us. So we should jump on this as much as we can. Oh, by the way, I'm working with a local gentleman named Pat Kokura. He's got a camera, a tripod, and we're organizing, setting up on Pearl Street Mall in front of the courthouse, doing a presentation on Shivambu to the general public. All we have to do is run it through the city to get their blessings, and we can start this anytime.
Cool. I just wanted to address what why aren't we on their radar? Or I think we're on their radar. I just don't think we're important at this point. But regarding this best vaccine alternative, is the reason the first leg of this campaign is to collect testimonies is because once we posit ourselves as an alternative to the vaccine, then we become more important. And then we can, potentially become censored. And that's why I want to get all the testimonies in and secure it on our own website before that happens.
Well, I'll just say that I'm on a few of the social media, the Facebook ones, and one of them, someone posts one of the administrators, it's on Urine Therapy, Monica Swift, has said that we're on the radar and that they've threatened to take the site offline. And when people talk about the vaccine, and I don't know what angle that you should be doing as an alternative, that will get censored, and that she recommends people not do it. In fact, she tells people not to do it. So I don't know the exact details, but we are on some radar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, McLean, is there some way, and I know there's always a way with everybody here, that we can let people know that there is a prevention and cure of all viruses without actually naming the virus or without using the word vaccine, that people it's on their mind so much anyway? Is there a way we can talk about it without using those buzzwords?
You can mention symptoms. I'm sorry.
Keep going.
You could mention symptoms. You could mention other names. So like imbalances in the body, ailments, I guess you could say. Basically anything outside of the word disease or cancer or virus or flu. You know what I mean? Those key words.
Well, it's interesting you should put that up there, because if you guys ever heard about Doc Mike Whitford out in Chicago, he went up against the courts. He went up against the powers to be in Illinois and Chicago to win the right to use the word cure. And he won this court case that says doctors do not own that word. So he's on our side. I don't know how we can use that, but Doc Mike proved it in court that you don't have claim to words like that.
We have to register as an offshore colony, I think.
Yeah, move to Dubai.
Or a boat, right? Like if it's an island, that's an issue. It has to be a boat.
I see. We're the Shivambu boat.
And we float on water.
And we float.
Semi-serious comment, because I've just heard something about, you know, maritime law. It's just like, you know, the people with the money win
Vessels.
the people with the money win the court cases. So like, that's the negative thought. That's
Well, courts are courtships. If you look at the Miami Federal Court, it literally, the top of the building is a ship. It's all maritime law, sea law.
That's fantastic. I didn't know that. Thank you.
Yeah, man, it's all about how you place your wording and separating yourself from your all names caps, dead name, you know?
Well, yeah. God, I can't wait to win my first court case.
Win it, all you got to do is separate it. Realize that there is no court case to be dismissed, you know?
That's a jurisdiction thing.
But anyway,
I
Shivambu.
don't consent to the jurisdiction. I am not underneath. I'm not understanding you, standing underneath all that.
All right, let's get here from Indira.
Some noise. Okay.
Somebody,
Jordan, will you mute yourself? Will everybody mute yourself if you're not speaking?
There we go.
Okay. I tend to agree with McLean mentioning about this senator or somebody knowing that we are on their radar. I think if we change the language, because I think they have so many resources to find out who people are doing what, you know. So even in India, people are doing this already, you know, like cow's urine and your urine and this and that. So anything that has to do urine, vaccine, health, everything. Because even in this country, in the 20s, doctors were practicing this for their patients. So they already have a whole file, you know. So it is very easy for them to put, okay, urine, and all these things will show up. So our language, if it is very clear that, you know, the symptoms, this other gentleman was saying about, we can say symptoms, then you can, you know, add with the language, but not emphasize vaccine too much.
Thank you. Plus, we also have to be careful in our wording to not represent ourselves as doctors, medical personnel, because that's not our world and we're not qualified to go there. Thank you, Matt.
Hey, I just wanted to just check in with McLean. So what, you said it was a Facebook group, a particular Facebook group that was saying that, and Monica Swift is the name of the person?
She's an administrator, yes. And she, I mean, I can send you the link on Facebook and you can see.
That'd be great. Yeah, I just want to keep track.
Is that one called Urine Therapy Representatives and so on? She's got like 7,000 members.
You're muted again, McLean.
Yes, I think it's just called Urine Therapy. Let me go look. But I can send you the link, and she's often, you know, it's telling us the two things. One is how you talk about the virus or the vaccine. And I think it's like you can't lay claims to cure. And there's some, you know, in general, I mean, there's something else that I didn't quite follow.
Can you get her? Can you get her to communicate with us?
Well, I can find out what it is. Yeah, it's just called Urine Therapy. I'll send you the link for it, and then we can see. Yeah,
I would love to collaborate with her, and if she's just not some rogue urine therapy admin, but she wants to be part of a community, it'd be great to welcome her. Darlene, Darlene, unmute yourself.
As part of my naturopath association, I was given a whole list of words that I'm not allowed to use because allopathic medicine has claimed them as theirs, which are really simple words that in everyday conversation I tend to use anyways, but in the written word I tend not to use. And I've been trying to come up with different words so people understand what I'm talking about without using the triggering words that would get their knickers in a knot.
Can you give an example, just like one example of that word, of a word like that?
Well, even, you know, even like the word recommendations, and I use that one a lot. I'm not allowed to say, you know, prescribe. I've got to say, and recommend is kind of in the gray area. And then suggest is more of a, you know, what they would prefer.
Okay. Is it possible that you can send us that list? Or if there's such a list?
So I've compiled a list and compiled words that I'm trying to get into my vocab rather than their triggering words. Sometimes I'm more successful than other days because I just want to get the message out there. But I have compiled a list of their words in bold and then the words I'm trying to use in my own vocab.
Well, one thing you can do, and this is something I learned from being a nutrition consultant and in the nutritional world for many, many years, is you can simply say, when someone says it's good for diabetes and heart disease and multiple sclerosis and AIDS and blah, blah, a simple answer is, I don't know about that. All I know is that when I drink it, I feel better.
And that's a more generic way of looking at it. You know, I can get into a bit more specifics than, you know, because I was originally a nutritionist and then got into a naturopath and now I'm heading towards doctor of natural medicine. But, you know, no matter where you are in the scope, it, you know, or even none of those, you know, you got to use words that aren't triggering to them. For some reason, they have seemed to lay claim on them. But there's other, you know, I've been working on other words that people understand in the English language, what that means and not cause alarm.
We don't want to piss anybody off.
Right.
All right, somebody want to add to that?
Thanks, I don't want to do that work. I appreciate that work being done.
I'm wondering if we should let Jordan check in.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from you, Jordan, wherever you are.
Unmute yourself.
Well, while he's unmuting himself, I just want to say I posted a message from that admin in the chat. I copied it and posted it here.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
I will be sending everybody a copy of the chat feed, so I'll make a note of that in case you guys don't get a chance to get back to it.
So, Chris, did you want me to send you that list, or say, Brother Sage, where do you want it sent so it can be added into the Shivambu?
Yeah,
terminology or dictionary of.
I also have a quick suggestion that might help finding new words. I remember back in all of school, I used a thesaurus for everything because I was always trying to find similar words that have the same meaning, but obviously sound different. And yeah, just a little recommendation or possible suggestion. A thesaurus may help with newer words into the vocabulary.
And that's where I took a lot of my words. I just went, what else can I use? And I went through the thesaurus and said, what makes sense and what doesn't make sense in this context, and to try to come up with the different words. And that's what I've done.
Yeah, it's like we need to have a class on word education.
Yeah, especially in this realm.
Oh, and subject matter, you know, like Brother was talking about, it's usually by people other than us. I wanted to say that, directed towards the negative, and I get swept up in that. So there's the. So Brother Sage's books helped me a lot with just getting the vocabulary on point by getting like the thing I'm talking about on point. I'm talking just about the positives. Yeah, he's brought up that many times. Not a new idea. Anyhow.
Well, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Matt. One of the things that I wanted us to discuss today was any feedback you have, whether it's joyful or frustrating, about introducing this practice of urine therapy to new people. What are you guys coming across when you talk to them? Anybody?
You know,
you're not telling anybody? Are you keeping it a secret?
Yeah, I'm having a hard time with my social media, posting on social media, because, you know, I'd never had a following anyhow. And the following I did have that cared were family members that are now extremely scared about my practices in general, and especially urine therapy, I'm sure. So because, you know, Facebook is so lame, I'm in that situation. If Facebook was better at actually communicating with people. Anyhow, I'm just citing my own natural loneliness for my inability to communicate.
Would you like?
Or Indira, what has been your experience when you introduce urine therapy to new people?
Well, I think that mainly they're Indians that I talk because they have some idea, more respect, more, like tolerance towards, you're talking about urine? No. So mainly I'm talking to the Indian people, I mean, people from India. So they're more tolerance. So I think that the cultural aspect does play a role, whom you are talking to,
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that if we have a good handle over the language, international language, that people can accept something that is so cultural or something very ancient. So we can bring the ancient aspect of urine therapy, Shivambu. That's why I go back to saying, who gave this even name Shivambu? The biggest god of India. His name is on this system. I mean, there has to be some reason,
Mm-hmm.
So language does play, culture does play part in it. So let's look at an international cultural kind of a approach to this. Thank you.
And Indira, you mentioned that you said that that Shivambu or urine therapy is the foundation of Ayurvedic.
Not even foundation, they are saying. So I'm going to look into that reference. Who said this? They say that Shivambu is the mother of Ayurveda.
Yeah, that's huge right there.
It is.
It's not just a part of the Ayurvedic teaching. It's the foundation. It's the mother of
the mother.
I mean, it is even going beyond the philosophy. Or Matt is laughing. I want to know.
Oh, if we can have that in writing. Oh my God.
Well, we have to.
It is very much needed.
Who has said that? You see.
Well, it's actually in this book, and I was going to read it this morning, but I lost track of it. He quotes Ayurvedic, and he goes into where a lot of the origin is. So if you remind me, I'll look it up. But there's another key element component that I would add that goes even in great mix with the traditional teaching, and that's the human element of being able to let people know that you care. That compassion element, if people know that you care more than you know stuff, and that you got all this collective education and wisdom around Shivambu, is that you're touching them where they're going to hear you. When people come to you, they're in pain, they're desperate, and if they know that you really care and you're real serious, they're likely to try this.
Yes. 2 questions. Oh, actually, just one. Could you send me that book? Because literally all books on Shivambu practices, I love reading, absolutely. So that would be awesome.
Hello?
Put it in the chat and remind me.
I thought, this book is available online.
Yeah, it probably is. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to find it in a PDF format for free. There's a lot of these older books before the 1990s. Somebody was nice enough to post them.
And also, maybe you can do it Amazon. I'm sure there are many, many copies of this exist in India. So
I don't know.
Amazon.
I don't know about.
Does anybody know when
another good book is?
You guys happen to know when a copyright goes out of existence and you can claim public domain for a book? Is it 30 years or 70 years? Is it 30, Matt?
I think it's 100.
100 years. Okay.
I mean, like the no rules, like everything goes for. There might be other layers below that, but all this poetry that's public domain, music, sheet music, of course. That like no holds barred rule, I really think is 100, but there might be lower, thresholds.
Well, I'd like to find out because this last was copyrighted in 1994. And if these guys are not going to reprint it, I would love to reprint it. And we could bring it up to 2021.
If you can, just ask Shiva if they're going to sue you, if they don't sue you, you're good. I mean, it's all in good faith. It's tough to say.
Christopher, did you have something?
I'm just looking up, it looks like, it's inconclusive.
Can you add the title and the author to the chat, please? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Jordan just put something in the chat, and he just wants to just listen, but he's very interested, and he's just beginning.
I just answered him also, but where the recordings will be.
And pardon, I forget your name, Zoom user. You had a little story about a 5-day fast with a waterfall companion. And of course your water, that's cool, probably a cool story.
Yes, would you guys like me to share that now or later?
Now is all we got, let's have it.
Now is all we got, let's get it. All right, so last month, I decided to go on a 7-day camping retreat for myself, just solitude, connecting with the self, And I only ended up going 5 days. The park that I was at was actually closed, and the park services found me. So I had to leave, sadly. But one thing that I learned while practicing just Shivambu while out in nature is that your body naturally purifies the water. Our entire lives, we were always told that we can't drink from waterfalls or streams or anything like this. And it's something that I was very indoctrinated in. And at first I brought potable tablets to clean the water. And after my first test of it, my intuition told me to just drink the water naturally. And the emerald tablets, though, speaks about always drinking flowing and running water. If you think from an energetic standpoint, flowing or waterfall water has the most velocity, the most energy in it. So it's very vital for the body, right? What I learned though is that all of the impurities that you drink from that waterfall water is flushed into your urine, right? And then as soon as you loop your urine, it's like it purifies those toxins through the colon. So it's like you drink the water, you pee it out, you drink your pee, and then it flushes out the toxins. So it takes a cycle or two to completely clean yourself from whatever contaminants was in that water. So I've learned, after 5 days, you really don't have to boil your water. You don't have to clean your water. All you have to do is loop your own water after you consume nature's water. And that's how you bring your body back to homeostasis.
And it tastes better.
Oh, much better. That was another quick little thing that I noticed. I've been practicing for a couple months, and when I first started practicing, I was drinking lots of either tea or coconut water, and so my urine was always tasting like coconut water, which is obviously great. But if I was ever dehydrated, my urine was very bitter, and I realized that when you consume a lot of liquids, your blood becomes diluted, which makes your urine diluted. So when I became very serious about the practice, I told myself to drink as little as liquids as possible to actually purify my Shivambu and my blood at the same time. And so now at any time of the day, no matter how dehydrated I am or what color my urine is, it always has that sweet taste to it because I purified my blood, which is what urine really is, blood.
Well, thank you for sharing it. There's a lot of people in the water family who drink only urine as their source of liquids. No matter what they're eating, that's their water.
Well, it also brings up for me that what I see a lot online is people say you have to drink distilled water and their testimonials. And I mean, I have to go. I have an appointment soon, but I wouldn't mind hearing, if not this meeting, another meeting about what people have to say, or is it enough just, I mean, what Jordan, I think that's Jordan, the Zoom user is saying. I mean, I don't that's not my experience, but it's like these strong feelings about only distilled. And
yeah, I find it very odd myself, because one, being out in nature, I was drinking waterfall water and I was totally fine. And secondly, when you think of the natural way of living, us humans, you go back in time, we didn't have pots to distill water, we literally just drank flowing water. And then, like I said, with the loop of looping your body, your toxins are always going to release through the colon, and the purified nutrients are always going to go to the organs that need it. So me personally, I feel like distilled is a new age practice. It's a new age method. It's a way to purify your water, yes. And a lot of tap water that we have, it does need to be distilled. But overall, I feel like waterfall water is the best. That's nature. You're getting the minerals from the rocks. You're getting the charge of the sun. You're getting the negative ions. Nothing gets better than that.
It's
That's
also
nature.
it's highly structured because it's
That's what I
moving.
was gonna say. Yeah.
Exactly. It's highly structured. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's plasma ultrafiltrate, when it comes out, and it's structured when it comes from the waterfall. It's perfect.
And again, we have to sort out a lot of the dogma, the traditions, the theories. I mean, I studied Bernard Jensen, who lived to be 107, 108, and he was big about distilled water. And then comes on the scene Andrew Norton Weber, who you all know was really big on distilled water. So we have to sort out what our health gurus taught us versus what our intuition is telling us.
Well, his definition is very simple, and it might apply more. Andrew said, distilled water is not still. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
So living. But then he was talking about actually, mechanically distilling. So I'm just confused on that. Anybody enlighten me?
Well, he said that the word distill, if you take the word and you break it apart, it means to make the opposite of still or to activate. So distilled, if you break it apart, the original word meant to make active.
Sounds like waterfall water, you know what I mean? Sounds like Orin.
Or glacier water.
Yeah.
Perfect right there.
Yeah, so that's the thought I've been working with, but I still drink distilled water I'm torn.
My personal opinion is if I'm out in nature and I have a waterfall, I'm gonna drink that. If I'm out in, my society or at my house, I'm gonna drink distilled because that's probably the second pure. Unless you have a spring nearby or a waterfall to collect water from, distilled is the second best. Well, third best. Shivambu first.
Well,
bless it all. Bless it all. Darlene, did you have something to say, or Christopher?
No, I'm good now. I had said it. I just wanted to say that it was plasma ultrafiltrated, and it is, your own waters, that have been filtered properly and everything through it, and, and structured. And that's what Christopher said, that it was structured, and it's perfect.
Pretty darn perfect.
All the negative ions in it, it's all the vitamins and minerals. So when it's flowing down the rocks, it gets all the minerals and everything from the rocks.
Here's a question that comes up for me. People are doing urine therapy. And at some point, they always seem to want to say, it's not working. What would you say to them?
They are lacking something in their practice. Like for me, I was practicing for 2 or 3 months, diluting my urine. And it took me getting off of urine therapy to realize what I was doing improperly. I was diluting my urine, and that's like diluting my medicine.
Indira?
I think in a subtlest way, it is your mind which decides whether it works or not. So on a subtle level, if you think it is working, it will work. So you have to understand what is mind. Mind is a wave, a biomagnetic wave. So on a subtle level, if you think why, what, why, and how of Shivambu, it will help you. It can change your perspective in the mind itself which will work with the body, urine, everything, all the 5 senses, and the developing of the 6th sense is the mind.
And this is one of the reasons why I'm always suggesting to people is before you take your drink, say a little prayer and acknowledge the power of Shiva, the power of your holy water. And so you're going to align with that consciousness that's been around from the beginning of humanity. And that's going to really help you through the healing a lot better.
And also, you know, I sent you guys that Gravity of Gravity book. It spells that everything is cause and effect, and 13.4 billion years of evolution. We are given this beautiful, beautiful body, mind, and the biomagnetic way working through us. So I think I would love to share that. Christopher, did you get around to read that book?
I haven't read it yet, but I definitely want to.
I'm processing that. You know, I knew that book for many years. It came out in 2002, but now it makes total sense. So I'm living it, that everything with one atom starting from the Brahman as dust, whirling around and spreading it. All these things came together, then it became 5 elements, and it became conducive to having 1 sense life, 2 sense life, 3 sense, 4 sense, 5 sense. Humans are endowed with the 6th sense to go back to the Brahman, the pure space, absolute space. And that's where I think the interface is. And when you understand the interface, everything will work. So when people are asking, it's not working, well, they have to do some going back and develop their 6th sense to understand who we are.
Well, we're also including, I've had this talk with Darlene. If you do any consultations with people like we do, we're always probing and asking what's your diet, what do you do for exercise, do you have any good positive thoughts you hold every day. We want to look at all aspects of someone's life so we can see what needs to be improved, what needs to be brought into balance. Instead of just saying, drink your urine and good luck on your journey, give people some guidelines to make their life even better.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when
I think, go ahead.
Well, just when you put out your question, it was sort of like, what does that mean? It isn't working. What isn't working?
Well, yeah, like what's your expectation? I mean, you gotta define working for every, you know, for every person they have to define their
work,
what working means, you know, and then you can look at, okay, so this is my goal. Now, is my practice actually addressing my goal? And if it is, then you can say it's not working, and then you can go from there. But if you're, you know, you're wanting a certain goal and your practice is actually not directed towards that goal, then you have to change your practice.
Yeah, and the word's pretty vague, the word working.
Yeah, that's right. That's why we have to define we have to, you know, figure out what our expectations are. Then we know what working means for us.
Gotcha. Darlene?
And then the other side of it is something that I've seen a lot recently is some people are just too sick to go straight into the practice, and their detox is too extreme, and they don't know where to start, because every time they try it, they just have extreme reactions. And for them, that's not working. So they think they're sicker when they're actually getting healthier, but it seems too extreme for them. And then they may need a little bit of help, or may need to do it a little bit slower to start out, depending on where they're at with their health journey.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, this is such a powerful practice, and people who have, I mean, I just saw a post where someone said something like they're not having a healing crisis. And my response was, what are you trying to heal? Maybe you're healthy and it's just going to maintain your health and it's going to be good. And people that have a lot, you know, just putting it out, if everyone in society took it out took it up. I feel like you'd have to go on a retreat for, you know, months. I mean, it's really powerful. And I don't think you can just sort of recommend it to anyone who doesn't have the time to devote to it, or the space to compare, or you have to be careful how you start and how you do it, because, you know, a healing crisis can be very intense.
I've taken a lot of time out of, through years of, you know, kind of crashing my life subconsciously. I've, you know, as people do, I guess, I've created that time for myself, and I'm blessed to not be down and out. I'm blessed to have 2 feet on the ground and the proper knowledge. So I walk by homeless people in New York City, and on occasion, I mean, I always want to tell them, you have time and you need it. But on occasion, I actually do tell them. But, you know, even there, it's tough to get a good reaction. Of course it is.
They're a hard audience to play before.
The time, you know, that's part of the reason why I feel that walking next to homeless people. It's that big of a deal. It is. Absolutely.
Well, right. And I mean, I have friends that are dealing with health things, and they know what I do, but people, you know, if they're not drawn to it, and I just feel like it isn't just something you can take lightly if you have some major medical going on. Anyway, I have to go. I love you all.
Thanks, McLean. Look forward to hearing from you. We'll get something together with Christopher this week. All right, Christopher, you're muted.
Was it me or other Chris?
The other Christopher.
Oh, your name is Christopher also?
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, good. I you're. It's not. Yeah, you're just Zoom user. So I'm glad that we got your name.
Together, you're Christos.
Christos.
Plural.
Is that the plural? Really? Christos.
It's a bad joke. That's all.
No, I didn't know the plural for Christopher.
Well, I think you can call Christ Christos in Spanish, but to me that sounds plural. Why not?
So I need to go too. You're going to send out the chat to us all?
Yes, I will. And I'm going to ask everybody to grab onto shivambu.org and the Shivambu Hut, and be freely share that with your networks and your communities. That'll support us in building a stronger group and be able to serve a greater audience.
And I would encourage everybody who hasn't already to send me your testimony. Basically, you know, why you use Shivambu, and if you feel this way, and I'm assuming you do, if you feel like it protects you from the coronavirus, then include that. You know, that is your belief, and you don't have to have proof of it. All you have to do is have your belief, and that's what I would, you know, encourage you to put in writing.
Quick question. I'm trying to look up the website. What is it?
Shivambu.org.
Check the chat. I just put it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
And also there is a link to the Shivambu Hut, which is a free membership for all the people in the community. And what's been happening is new people are showing up. They're not only answering each other's questions and concerns, but they're adding more content. And this was one of our intentions all along, is to make it user-friendly and to engage with people. So Christopher reminds me to ask questions. We're going to ask more questions to the community.
Yeah, and there's like 270 people in the Shivambu Hut. Shivambu Hut it's a social media platform, but it's not. It's we own it. It's our social media platform. It's, you know, we're not censored by, you know, Facebook algorithms, or it's like we can do what we want on it.
I love it. I'm looking forward to being more on it. That was the problem with me, and, you know, like I mentioned earlier, and these platforms that I had formerly kind of given up. Now that I have something to share, it's tough to go back. So I love that. Also, can we get rid of the like junk posts that are on there?
I've been getting that on every day. There's like 5, 6, 7 people are just advertising their services, and it's a commercial.
Do you know what members they are? Can you identify the members?
Well, the moment I see them, I know they're not even discussing the topic. And when you ask them and they don't even answer, they're either, yeah.
So you, Sage, you and I both have the authority, the ability to just delete them from the site?
You can not only delete them, but you can ban them.
Well, you just delete their membership. So do you know how to do that?
Yes.
All right. Well, then
where the three dots are above their name, there's a drop-down menu, and you have options of what function you want to do.
All right. So if you see somebody is repeatedly doing that, then just delete them from the site.
I have. And Christopher, before you leave, have you helped VJ change the notification settings on the hut?
I haven't gotten into that yet, but it's on my list. So
right.
I'm working on it. Yeah. And I think the reason you're getting so many is because you're listed as a moderator.
I just changed that.
All right. So that should actually help. So they're just a participant now, right?
Member. Yeah.
Member. Okay. That should help a lot. Has it changed? Have you gotten when did you change that?
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Have you gotten many today?
How many did you get today?
I have not checked.
We have not checked.
All right, let us know about that, because that might be the issue right there, and it's already fixed. So let us know. Just send me an email.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. Still have 3 minutes. Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
I'm maybe very ignorant, but what we are talking, what websites we have, I think there has to be at the top of the pyramid, somebody knows everything.
Najee, over here. Najee.
What?
Say it again. Repeat the question.
Najee, come on.
There's some, all these networks.
Can you mute?
Yes.
We are muted, yeah.
Both Christophers.
Okay, so, somebody in the algorithm or whatever the technology is all about, what we are recording, what we are saying, it is all recorded someplace that the powers to be can access. I want to know.
Good question. Who knows how to do that?
It depends on how much marijuana you smoke, the answer to that question. But the short answer is yeah, technically.
So what's the question? The question is, how do we protect ourselves from censorship from the authorities? Is that the question?
Or where this thing is recorded in the satellites, or I mean, this is a a question, generic question that somebody will be knowing all this activity.
Yep.
Let's talk about it offline.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks.
Are you guys going to the farmer's market?
Well, yeah, I have to go. I'm going to take some food for the farmers.
All right, I'll meet you there.
Okay.
Hey, before we go, Nikita Jain just joined us. Nikita, do you want to introduce yourself?
Okay.
Hi, Nikita.
Hi, Nikita. We love you. Welcome to the family.
All right. I guess not. They just want to remain anonymous.
That name sounds very Indian. The last name, Jain.
All right.
All right. Group hug. Group hug.
All the best. Bye. Be in the zone.
You guys are the best.